Alright, settle in. Let's talk about something that maybe doesn't get discussed enough. Something deeply personal, especially when you reach a certain age. You know, life after 65. It's supposed to be a time for slowing down, for enjoying the fruits of your labor, for finally finding some well-deserved peace, right? But sometimes it gets complicated. Especially when it comes to family. Have you ever felt it? That quiet expectation, that gentle pressure from the people you love most, to lay bare your soul? To share every thought, every worry, every plan, every detail of your life? And maybe, just maybe, you've gone ahead and done it. You've opened up, you've shared something deeply personal, something about your health, your money, your past, your feelings, and later, perhaps in the quiet of the evening, you've had that sinking feeling. That little voice whispering, "Oh, I really wish I hadn't said that. I wish I had kept that peace, just for me." It's a form of regret that settles deep, isn't it? Not about big, dramatic life choices, but about the smaller, intimate moments where we perhaps shared a little too much, with the wrong person, or at the wrong time. And suddenly, that peace you were hoping for? It feels disturbed. Maybe now you're getting unsolicited advice that feels like criticism. Maybe a casual comment has caused unexpected worry or tension. Or maybe, just maybe, sharing something has subtly shifted the way your loved ones see you, or created an awkwardness you just can't shake. You see, as you navigate these golden years, your peace of mind, your tranquility, your personal space, they become incredibly valuable. You've earned them. You've navigated decades of work, responsibilities, raising families, facing challenges. Now is the time to protect your inner world. And sometimes, despite all the love in a family, the easiest path to a peaceful life isn't total transparency about everything. It's about wise discretion. It's about understanding that some things, some very specific things, can actually disrupt the harmony you cherish if they're shared too freely. It's a hard lesson, often learned through moments of quiet regret. What are these things? What are these secrets, not in a dishonest way, but in a way that protects your boundaries and your peace? They might not be what you expect. They touch on areas we often feel obligated to discuss, but which can quietly erode our autonomy and bring unnecessary stress. Imagine having a simple, clear understanding of what these sensitive areas are, and how keeping them gently private can allow you to navigate family dynamics with more grace, less anxiety, and a deeper sense of personal freedom. In this video, we're going to carefully explore 5 specific things that many people over 65 have learned, sometimes wishing they knew it sooner, are often better left unshared with family if you truly want to cultivate a peaceful life. By the end, you'll be empowered with insights to create healthier boundaries that honor both your relationships and your precious peace of mind. You'll understand why these particular things can cause friction and learn simple ways to maintain your privacy without building walls. You don't want to miss these points. They could genuinely change the way you interact and the peace you experience every single day. Does this resonate with you? Have you ever felt that pang of regret after sharing something personal? If you're ready to discover these 5 secrets for a more peaceful life after 65, and if you believe that protecting your peace is a vital part of aging well, then take a moment right now. Leave a comment below saying "Protect my peace." Let's acknowledge together that this is important. And please, if you haven't already, subscribe to Elderly Counsel and give this video a like. Your engagement tells YouTube this is valuable content, and it helps us reach more people who need to hear this message. Alright, let's dive in and explore the first secret. The first thing that's often better left unshared for the sake of your peaceful life. And this one, for many, can be surprisingly sensitive, and it's this: sharing the intricate details of your personal finances once you're over 65. Now, I know what you might be thinking. But they're my family! Shouldn't we be open about everything, especially finances? And yes, there are absolutely times when sharing certain financial information is necessary, for essential planning like wills, powers of attorney, or if you genuinely need support or help managing things. That's wise and necessary. But I'm talking about sharing every single detail. How much is in every account? where every penny goes, the exact size of your nest egg, the specifics of your pension, every investment, the whole picture. Have you seen this happen? Or maybe, just maybe, you've felt the impulse yourself, or even acted on it. You retire, you feel a new phase is beginning, and perhaps out of a sense of transparency, or wanting to get everything out in the open, you sit down and lay it all out for your adult children. And then, things shift. Almost imperceptibly at first. Suddenly, a casual purchase you make is met with a raised eyebrow or a comment like, "Oh, did you really need that?" Or maybe you start getting unsolicited advice about your investments, advice that might conflict, cause you doubt, or make you feel like your decisions are being scrutinized. In some cases, unfortunately, sharing exact figures can even lead to expectations, or outright requests for money that you hadn't planned for, or that put you in a difficult position. What you intended as openness can, sadly, open the door to unexpected pressure, tension, and a feeling that your financial independence, your hard-won security, is suddenly up for debate. It can feel like you have to justify your spending, or that your money isn't entirely yours anymore, at a time when it absolutely should be managed for your comfort and peace of mind. The logical, almost psychological reason this happens is because money touches on so many things: security, perceived success, future needs, even unspoken family dynamics and expectations. When you reveal the full scope of your finances, it can unintentionally trigger those underlying currents within a family. It can shift the power balance, create envy, or generate anxiety in your children about their own future or your ability to care for yourself. Keeping the intricate details private isn't about being deceptive. It's about maintaining a respectful boundary around your resources and your autonomy. It's recognizing that while your family cares, not every aspect of your personal financial situation requires their input, or even their full awareness to ensure their peace or yours. Your money is a tool for your well-being and security in this phase of life, and maintaining a private, clear boundary around it protects that purpose. A common mistake, as I mentioned, is feeling this deep obligation to share everything, perhaps thinking it's a necessary part of getting older or planning for the future. Or maybe there's a fear that if you don't share everything now, your children won't be prepared later. But you can be prepared, and prepare them for what's necessary, without giving them the keys to the kingdom, so to speak. You can have all your important documents in order, clearly state where things are, have trusted advisors, like a lawyer or financial planner, who can communicate necessary information if and when needed, and make your wishes known, all without broadcasting the exact figures in your portfolio or discussing every bill payment. So, the practical advice here is about finding that balance. You don't have to create some big mystery around your finances. It's simply about being politely, firmly private about the specifics that don't directly impact your family's day-to-day reality or necessary future planning. When asked, a calm, confident response like, "We have our finances well managed," or "Our financial planning is completely handled, thank you for your concern," is perfectly acceptable. You can reassure them that arrangements are in place for the future without opening up your accounts for public review. Sharing necessary information for estate planning or health directives with designated individuals is wise, but that's different from full disclosure of your net worth or spending habits to everyone. Prioritize your peace, your autonomy, and your right to manage your resources for your best life right now. Financial peace is absolutely foundational for a calm later life, but another area where maintaining privacy can be key, and perhaps even more difficult because it touches on something deeply personal, is closer to home, and it involves your health. Financial peace is important, but another area where maintaining privacy can be key, and perhaps even more difficult because it touches on something deeply personal, is closer to home, and it involves your health. So, the second thing that many adults learn, sometimes with a sigh of regret after they've already done it, is this: you probably don't need to share every single minor health ailment or passing concern with your entire family. Now, hang on. Before you think I mean hiding serious issues, absolutely not. Anything significant that impacts your daily life, requires care, or that your family genuinely needs to know to support you or be prepared for the future, of course, that must be shared openly and clearly. That's responsible. What I'm talking about are the little things. Oh, my knee is a bit creaky today. I had a funny twinge in my shoulder. I didn't sleep perfectly last night. Or, this little headache just won't go away. You know, the minor, often transient stuff that just happens as the body gets older. Think about it. Have you ever known someone, maybe even felt the urge yourself, to use the family group chat or every phone call as a running commentary on every slight symptom? Woke up with a bit of a stiffness. My digestion feels off today. The doctor said my minor thing is just common age-related explanation, but it's still bothering me. While yes, your family cares about you, this constant stream of minor health updates, day after day, week after week, it can actually create unnecessary anxiety for everyone involved. Your kids start to worry excessively about every little report, sometimes imagining things are worse than they are. They might start offering well-meaning but conflicting or unhelpful advice. Have you tried this supplement? Or, you should really see a specialist about that twinge. And perhaps most importantly for your peace, it can subtly start to define you in their eyes, and even in your own mind, primarily by your ailments. You become the one who always has something wrong, rather than the vibrant, interesting person you are who happens to be navigating the natural process of aging. The logical reality here is that our bodies do change as we get older. There will be new aches, new stiffness, new little quirks. That's part of the journey. But constantly reporting on every single one gives them undue power and focus. It shifts the energy of conversations away from shared joys, family news, and engaging in life, and towards a perpetual health report. This continuous focus on minor symptoms can also increase your own health anxiety. The more you talk about something, the more you might fixate on it. It takes energy away from appreciating what your body can still do and focusing on staying active and engaged in the world. Deciding to filter these minor, transient complaints, discussing them only with your doctor or perhaps one designated health confidant if truly needed, allows your family interactions to remain focused on connection, shared interests, and the positive aspects of life. It's about managing communication for mutual well-being and ensuring that worry isn't the primary currency of your family conversations. A common misconception here is that sharing everything is necessary because they worry about me, or that it's simply being open. And while their worry comes from a place of love, constantly feeding them minor issues might actually increase their stress and sense of helplessness. Because for these small things, there's often nothing they can do. You can reassure your family that you are managing your health proactively with your doctor, and you will absolutely inform them if anything significant arises. That level of communication is responsible and comforting. But feeling obligated to provide a daily symptom log? That's often more detrimental than helpful for everyone's peace. So, the practical advice is to practice a gentle form of filtering. When someone asks, "How are you?" you don't need to launch into a full medical report of every minor discomfort. A simple warm, "I'm doing well today, thank you," or "enjoying the day," is perfectly fine. If you have a persistent minor issue that concerns you, discuss it with your doctor. If you need a bit of emotional support about the changes of aging, confide in a close friend or consider a support group. But distinguish between needing support for a significant issue and simply reporting on every little niggle. Choose where you invest your conversation energy, into nurturing relationships through shared positive experiences, or into cataloging minor physical complaints. You are so much more than your medical chart, and letting your interactions reflect that protects your peace and helps your family see and appreciate the vibrant person you are. Health is deeply personal, and finding peace around how you communicate about it is vital. But sometimes the things that disturb our peace are rooted not in the present, but in the past. Health is deeply personal, and finding peace around how you communicate about it is vital. But sometimes the things that disturb our peace are rooted not in the present, but in the past. And that brings us to the third thing many seniors learn, sometimes with a pang of regret after they've spoken too freely, oversharing past mistakes, old regrets, or difficult life events that are resolved and truly don't impact your family's life now. This can be a tricky one. As you get older, you might find yourself reflecting a lot. Thinking back on your life, the paths taken, the choices made. And sometimes, you might feel a powerful urge to confess something, to clear the air, to share a burden you've carried, or maybe even explain why you are the way you are by revealing a past misstep. You might think, they should know the real me. Or, I need to be completely honest with my children. But picture this. Imagine, perhaps at a quiet family dinner, you decide to recount in detail a significant mistake you made 40, maybe 50 years ago. Something difficult, something you regret, maybe something that caused pain at the time but has long since been resolved and has no lingering consequences today. You share it, perhaps hoping for understanding, or just needing to get it off your chest. And you look across the table, and you see confusion. Maybe discomfort. Perhaps you've inadvertently opened up old wounds for other family members who were involved or affected. Or maybe the younger generation just doesn't have the context, and this revelation, while deeply significant to your history, simply burdens them with unnecessary knowledge or changes their perception of you in a way that doesn't reflect the person you are today, a person who has learned, grown, and healed. What was intended as catharsis or honesty can, unfortunately, inject a new, perhaps heavy, energy into the family dynamic that disturbs the present peace. The logical insight here, learned often through lived experience, is that while honesty is foundational in relationships, not every single detail of your personal history, especially the painful, resolved bits, needs to become part of your family's current narrative. Your family loves you, the person you are today, forged by all your experiences, yes, but not defined solely by your past missteps. Sharing unresolved issues that require their understanding or support is one thing. Sharing the lessons learned from a difficult past is often valuable wisdom to impart. But simply unburdening yourself of old regrets by placing the knowledge of them onto your family can sometimes feel like transferring a weight, especially if they can do nothing with that information except feel uncomfortable or see you differently. Your journey of processing and making peace with your past is deeply personal work. While connection is vital, not every part of that personal processing needs to be public within the family sphere. A common mistake driving this oversharing is, as I mentioned, that powerful need to unburden, or a belief that complete, unfiltered honesty about every single past event is always the kindest or best path in family relationships. Sometimes it stems from a hope for validation or absolution from your children. But true absolution comes from within, or perhaps from a higher power, or a trusted confidant specifically equipped to handle such disclosures, like a therapist or counselor. Your children love you, but they are not always the right audience, or have the right tools, to process the weight of your deep past regrets in a way that is healthy for them or for your relationship with them now. So, how do you handle those persistent regrets or difficult memories without disturbing your present peace or that of your family? The practical advice is to find alternative outlets for processing the past. Journaling can be incredibly therapeutic, getting those thoughts and feelings out of your head and onto paper. Talking to a therapist or counselor provides a confidential and professional space to explore difficult memories. Confiding in a peer who has similar life experiences might offer understanding and solidarity. The key is to process these things in a way that is healthy for you and doesn't create unnecessary ripple effects in your current family relationships. If there is a profound life lesson you've learned from a past experience that could genuinely benefit your family, share the wisdom and the lesson gained, not necessarily the raw, potentially upsetting or confusing details of the event itself. Frame it as a teaching moment, not a confession that requires their absolution or burdens them with difficult knowledge they can't act upon. Protecting their peace, and yours, sometimes means allowing certain chapters of your past to remain a private part of your personal history. Speaking of things that can cause unexpected friction, sometimes our strong opinions, while certainly not mistakes, are also best kept private. Protecting their peace, and yours, sometimes means allowing certain chapters of your past to remain a private part of your personal history. Speaking of things that can cause unexpected friction, sometimes our strong opinions, while certainly not mistakes, are also best kept private. And that brings us to the fourth thing many learn is often better left unshared for a peaceful life after 65. Your very strong, potentially divisive personal opinions, especially on sensitive topics, when interacting with family. Now, everyone has opinions. And as you get older, you've certainly earned the right to hold strong beliefs based on your life experiences and wisdom. But we all know that certain topics, things like politics, religion, deeply personal lifestyle choices, maybe even opinions on how other family members are raising their kids or living their lives, can be incredibly sensitive. When opinions on these topics clash sharply, they can be absolutely explosive in a family setting. Have you ever lived through that? Or maybe even been the one who accidentally set off the fireworks? Think about a holiday dinner, a birthday celebration, or even just a casual Sunday visit. Everything is going along pleasantly, and then someone, perhaps you, perhaps someone else, brings up a sensitive topic, maybe a recent news event, a political figure, or a moral issue, and states a very strong, unwavering opinion that directly opposes someone else's equally strong, unwavering opinion in the room. What happens next? You can feel the air change, can't you? The polite conversation stops. Voices might rise. Facts are debated, often turning into personal attacks or dismissals of the other person's viewpoint. The atmosphere gets thick with tension. Even after the topic is dropped, the discomfort lingers. That sharp exchange, that feeling of being fundamentally disagreed with or judged on something deeply important, can leave a mark that lasts long after the meal is over or the visit ends. What was supposed to be a time of connection and shared family warmth gets hijacked by conflict, souring the relationships that are, at this stage of life, incredibly precious. The logical reality is this: while you absolutely have the right to your beliefs and opinions, a casual family gathering is often not the time or place for a debate on divisive topics. Pushing a strong opinion that you know deeply conflicts with a loved one's equally strong opinion rarely results in changing their mind in that moment. More often, it results in hurt feelings, resentment, and a breakdown in communication. Your goal in later life is likely centered around enjoying peaceful interactions, cherishing time with family, and maintaining connection. Constantly engaging in debates or pushing your viewpoint on sensitive issues can actively work against that goal. It forces others to either confront you, creating conflict, or withdraw, creating distance. Choosing your battles wisely, or perhaps more accurately, choosing peace and harmony over proving a point in a casual setting, is a profound form of wisdom earned through seeing the cost of unnecessary conflict over the years. It's not about abandoning your beliefs. It's about prioritizing the health and peace of your family relationships in certain contexts. A common mistake or misconception here is feeling a deep obligation to challenge or correct family members you believe are misinformed on important topics. Or perhaps feeling that staying silent means you're compromising your values. However, there are other avenues for expressing your strong beliefs: engaging in discussions with like-minded friends, participating in groups dedicated to those topics, writing, or discussing them in appropriate forums. Your family living room or holiday table doesn't have to be one of them, especially if you know it will predictably lead to upset. You can hold your values dear and live by them without needing every family member to agree with you or hear your every strong opinion on every contentious issue. So, what's the practical advice for navigating this? It starts with awareness. Learn to recognize when a conversation is drifting into a potentially divisive territory. Practice having a few polite phrases ready to gently steer the conversation back to calmer waters. Something as simple as, "That's a really complex issue, and we see things differently. Maybe we can talk about something else? How was your week?" Or, "I'd rather focus on enjoying our time together right now than get into a debate about topic." Redirect to shared positive memories, current family happenings, hobbies, or plans that everyone can enjoy discussing. It takes conscious effort, but actively curating a positive and peaceful environment during family interactions is an incredible gift you can give yourself and your loved ones. Protect those moments of connection from being overshadowed by predictable conflict. Maintaining peace around potentially divisive opinions is a skill worth cultivating. And finally, the fifth secret involves something that's all about the future, specifically your plans for it. Maintaining peace around potentially divisive opinions is a skill worth cultivating. And finally, the fifth secret involves something that's all about the future, specifically, your plans for it. This is something many older adults learn, sometimes the hard way after dampening their own excitement. You likely don't need to share every single future plan, idea, or possibility with your family the very moment it pops into your head or you start thinking about it. Think about it. As you get older, you might have exciting new ideas. Maybe you dream of moving to a different town or state, taking a long trip, starting a new creative project, volunteering extensively, learning a new language, or even pursuing a new, less demanding way to earn a little income. These are exciting possibilities. And often, our first instinct is to share that excitement with the people we love, our family. We might casually mention, "You know, I was thinking. Maybe I might look into living somewhere warmer in the winters." Or, "What do you think about the idea of me taking that pottery class every week?" But have you noticed what can happen next? Before you've even fully formed the idea yourself, before you've done the research, crunched the numbers, or figured out the logistics, you can get hit with a tidal wave of reaction. Well-meaning, yes, but potentially overwhelming and peace-disturbing. You might immediately face questions like, "Are you sure that's safe? How will you manage that? What about your appointments here? But you'll be so far away. Doesn't that cost a lot?" Or maybe even subtle resistance disguised as concern. "I don't know if that's a good idea." This flood of worry, practical questions you're not ready to answer, and sometimes outright doubt can instantly deflate your excitement. It can make a potentially joyful idea feel like a burdensome problem you now have to defend, adding stress and stealing your peace before your idea has even had a chance to fully bloom in your own mind. The logical reason this happens, and why keeping these nascent plans quiet can be so important for your peace and autonomy, is that ideas need space and time to develop. Your personal process of exploring possibilities, doing your research, weighing the pros and cons, and deciding what's right for you is a personal journey. When you open that process up to external input too early, you invite anxiety and opinions that can muddy your own thinking and inject doubt. Your family cares, but their reactions are often colored by their own fears or what is convenient for them, not necessarily what is best for your happiness and sense of adventure. Presenting a half-baked idea can trigger their anxieties prematurely, causing them unnecessary worry and causing you unnecessary stress as you navigate their reactions. Waiting until an idea is more solidified, until you've done some research and feel clearer about the possibilities, allows you to present it not as a vulnerable question seeking permission, but as a more thought-out plan or possibility you are seriously considering or have decided upon. It's about owning your future and your decisions on your timeline. A common mistake here is feeling like you need validation or permission from your family to pursue new things, or simply getting carried away by excitement and sharing before you're truly ready for the input. You are an independent adult with the right to make your own plans and decisions for your life in retirement and beyond. While involving family can be wonderful, it's about when and how. You can share your life and your journey without needing their approval for every potential step you consider taking. So, the practical advice is to give your exciting new ideas time to breathe and grow in your own head first. Do some initial research, explore the possibilities privately, maybe talk it through with a trusted friend, peer, or a professional advisor who understands your goals without immediate emotional entanglement. When your idea feels more solid, when you've done some homework and feel more confident about it, then you can share it with your family. Frame it differently. Instead of saying, "I'm thinking maybe I should," try, "I've been exploring an idea, and I'm getting really excited about the possibility of," or, "I've done some research into a plan, and this is something I've decided I'd like to pursue." This presents your plan from a place of greater confidence and invites support and interest, rather than immediate worry or resistance. Protect your exciting ideas and your decision-making process from premature external anxiety for the sake of your own peace and joy in pursuing new possibilities. So, those are 5 things many learn, sometimes with a touch of regret, are often best kept private for a more peaceful life after 65. These aren't about being secretive in a negative way, but about setting wise boundaries to protect your tranquility and autonomy in your later years. So, those were 5 things many learn, sometimes with a touch of regret, are often best kept private for a more peaceful life after 65. These aren't about being secretive in a negative way, but about setting wise boundaries to protect your tranquility and autonomy in your later years. Now, taking all this in, it's important to just pause for a moment and acknowledge the emotional side of it, isn't it? Setting boundaries with family, especially adult children, can feel complicated. It can feel difficult, even counterintuitive sometimes. After a lifetime of maybe being the family matriarch or patriarch, the one who held things together, the one who was always open and giving, suddenly deciding that certain things are yours to keep private, it can stir up feelings. You might worry, even just a little bit, that you're being distant, or hurting someone's feelings, or that they won't understand. There might be a quiet fear that setting boundaries could create a rift, or that you'll be seen as less trusting, or even, yes, it can feel almost selfish, can it? To prioritize your own peace and privacy over what family members might feel entitled to know. It's a natural human response, especially when you've spent decades nurturing those very relationships. But let's gently reframe this. This isn't about pushing people away or building cold walls. It's about cultivating a healthy, respectful garden for your relationships and your own well-being. Think of your inner peace, your emotional energy, your autonomy. They are just as vital to your quality of life after 65 as your physical health. Perhaps even more so for enjoying your days fully. When you understand that certain types of oversharing can inadvertently invite stress, conflict, or a quiet erosion of your personal space, you gain a powerful tool. This knowledge isn't a burden, it's a form of empowerment. You are choosing to navigate your relationships with wisdom, informed by the lived experiences, sometimes the regrets, of many who have walked this path before you. Instead of feeling obligated to lay bare everything, potentially opening the door to unnecessary worries for your family or, crucially, stress and conflict for yourself, you now know you have choices. You have the quiet power to curate your emotional environment. You can shift from a place of feeling vulnerable or potentially resentful after oversharing, to a place of proactive peacekeeping. Understanding what information, when shared too soon or in too much detail, can inadvertently disturb your peace, allows you to approach conversations and family interactions with greater intentionality and grace. You're taking steps to ensure your later years are not just lived, but lived with the tranquility and dignity you've earned. So, what action can you take, gently, starting today? If any of these 5 points resonated deeply with you, if you felt that aha moment, or a pang of recognition about a time you wish you'd kept something private, take a moment to reflect. Think about which one feels most relevant to your life right now. It's okay to adjust your approach. You don't have to announce you're building new boundaries. It can be subtle. It can be as simple as pausing before you speak, asking yourself, is this information truly necessary to share right now? Will sharing this protect or potentially disturb my peace, or the peace of my family? Practice those polite deflections we discussed. Decide, for your own well-being, that certain topics are simply not for routine, detailed discussion. Be compassionate with yourself. This can take practice, especially if you're changing long-held habits. But the intention, the step towards valuing your peace, is what matters most. Finding profound peace in your later years is not a passive state. It's often an active cultivation. And sometimes, the most loving thing you can do for yourself, and for the health of your family relationships, is to establish and maintain healthy boundaries around your personal life. It's not about being cold or distant. It's about respecting your own space and teaching others, gently, how to respect it too. You are absolutely deserving of a tranquil, joyful, and autonomous life after 65. Making conscious choices about what you share, informed by the lessons of those who have navigated these waters, is a powerful, beautiful way to protect that precious peace. Embrace this wisdom. It's a gift to yourself, and ultimately, to the quality of the time you spend with those you love. Embrace this wisdom. It's a gift to yourself, and ultimately, to the quality of the time you spend with those you love. So, let's just quickly bring it back together and recap those 5 things that many people learn are often better left unshared with family for the sake of a peaceful life after 65. We talked about being discreet with the intricate details of your personal finances, and also choosing not to overshare every single minor health ailment or passing concern. Then we explored keeping private those past mistakes or old regrets that are resolved and don't impact the present, and the wisdom of holding back on strong, potentially divisive personal opinions, especially on sensitive topics, when interacting with family. And finally, we discussed giving your future plans and ideas time to solidify before sharing them prematurely. These 5 areas, handled with conscious discretion, can truly be keys to protecting your tranquility and maintaining your autonomy in these valuable later years. Now, this conversation isn't just meant to be a one-way street. These insights, these life lessons, are most powerful when we share our own experiences and learn from each other. This topic, navigating family dynamics, setting boundaries, finding personal peace, it touches so many lives as we get older. You are absolutely not alone in facing these challenges or in wishing sometimes that things were a little less complicated. I am genuinely curious to hear your perspective. Have you, perhaps through moments of regret, or simply through gaining wisdom, learned which topics are better kept private for the sake of peace? What has been your experience in trying to set or maintain boundaries with family members? Or maybe you have a tip, a gentle phrase, or a strategy that has worked for you in navigating these sensitive areas gracefully? Share your thoughts, your stories, your questions, or your own hard-won wisdom in the comments section right below this video. Let's make the comments section a truly supportive and insightful place, a continuation of this conversation, where we can all learn from each other's journeys. I promise you, reading about someone else's similar experience can be incredibly validating and helpful. And if you found value in this discussion today, if it sparked a realization, offered a new perspective, or just made you feel a little less alone in navigating these parts of life, if you want more content like this, content that dives into the real, sometimes complex, but always valuable lessons of aging, please consider subscribing to Elderly Counsel. Your subscription is much more than just a number to us. It means you're joining a community of people who are committed to living wiser, caring better for themselves and others, and loving deeper throughout their later years. By subscribing and also giving this video a like, you signal to YouTube that this content is helpful, and it helps us reach even more individuals and families who could benefit from these important discussions. It's a simple click for you, but it makes a world of difference in spreading these vital life lessons. Thank you. Truly, thank you for spending this time with me today, for being open to exploring these sensitive but crucial aspects of aging well, and for being a part of, or considering joining, the Elderly Counsel community. Your peace of mind, your autonomy, and your ability to live your later years with tranquility are incredibly valuable. Please protect them wisely. Keep seeking wisdom, keep making conscious choices that honor your well-being, and stay connected with those who lift you up. Stay strong, stay mindful, and I eagerly look forward to continuing this journey with you and sharing more lessons right here on Elderly Counsel in our next video.